Hello, and welcome to Have At Us, Reviews for Your Pleasure. I'm Joshua.
And I'm Nietzsche.
This is bonus episode number 4, Blue Justice. And today, we are talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It just came out, you know what we're talking about. It's the year 2022. It's a good year so far. There will be a lot of spoilers, so you have been warned.
Spoilers for both movies, probably. So if you haven't seen the first one, this also could spoil that. Now, you should go watch the first one, so you can watch this film. Because this was a good experience.
Good experience.
This is the best film that we have watched in theater for this podcast.
Is it now?
It is, it's not the crapshoot that was the other two films.
Okay. I don't know that you're wrong. I didn't really think about it. Maybe you're right.
I mean, there's only two other ones.
Yeah, it's
but
not.
You liked one of the other ones. You liked Batman.
Yeah.
I did not. But anyway, not about Batman. It's about good old Sonic 2. My good friend, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I'd like to, before we get there, get into this, explain the story of us watching Sonic the first time. the first one.
Please do.
Because I saw this trailer, and I was like, this is gonna be the best movie ever. And I just hyped this movie up. And I was like, man, we're gonna go see this as a whole joke. And then we just went and saw it for the purpose of the joke. And then it was actually a good movie. And I think that was it was a great, funny deal to me.
Now, is it a good movie? Or is it a good Sonic movie? Is it a good video game adaptation movie? Is this just good? Or is it good compared to other movies?
Well, there's a lot of questions. It's a good film in general, right? It knows what it wants to be, and it delivers. And it's funny. I laugh more in this film than I probably do at most things.
In Sonic 2, to be clear.
Yeah, in Sonic 2.
Okay.
This film was probably funnier than the first Sonic movie.
You think so?
I think it was a little bit funnier.
Okay.
It didn't have the one, really great scene in Sonic 1 with Mr. Eggman running down the Hicks, because that's pretty funny. But there were a lot more, small, that was really funny. And the dancing scene was really funny, very specifically. But we'll get to the dancing scene, because I want to get to that in its appropriate deal.
Mm-hmm. I know why you thought it was funny.
Oh, yeah, but it's pretty funny. Nonetheless. Anyway, do you think this was better or worse than the first Sonic film?
I liked the first one more.
You liked the first one more?
Yes.
What about this Sonic 2 was not as good?
I don't think the jokes were as intelligent. A lot of them seemed aimed specifically at a very young crowd. And that's not wrong. I'm not trying to say that's a wrong thing or a bad thing. Know your audience. And this theater had a lot of kids in it, so clearly catering to them, not a bad choice. But I think the first movie hit a little bit better when it came to its jokes. That being said, I think this is a good movie, and that's coming from someone who doesn't really care about Sonic. Don't ask me about these games, I don't care about these games. The only one I think I've actually played is Sonic 1 and 2 on the Nintendo, the Nintendo. No, the Sega Genesis.
Those are the only two I've played.
Maybe I played 3. I don't remember.
I have seen bits and pieces of one of the GameCube ones. That's about it, though. I don't know much about Sonic in general.
Yeah, I've never seen the anime. What is that, Sonic X or whatever? Never seen that. I'm not generally a big fan of the design of Sonic, but when it comes to video games, I'm not really a big fan of the animals that are now humans or are talking. It's weird to me. Banjo, Kazooie, that kind of stuff. I don't like it.
Well, at least Sonic talks.
Sonic does have that advantage.
Over Banjo and Kazooie. I don't know, talking animals is fine, generally. But we've realized that I like, the nature things and weird talking things. But it's kind of a weird line between they're not anthropomorphic, but they're also not normal. They're kind of anthropomorphic. It's a weird deal, but I don't really care. It looks fine. That's what I cared about. It didn't look bad.
Thankfully, they went back and fixed that original trailer for the first movie.
Well, I think what's really respectable is fans and people were like, nah, this is stupid, and they got lambasted hardcore for that. And then they delayed it and said, we're gonna fix your complaint. And I respect that. And I think it really, really helped them be successful.
If they had not fixed that, it would have ruined the first movie for a lot of people.
Yeah, I didn't think it looked that bad in the trailer. It didn't look good, and I think it looked better when they went back to it, but I wasn't overly bothered. I'm not super visual. But then when this film came out and they, launched the poster thing, people complained hardcore about that. And then they went back and changed that too.
And made it a much cooler poster with it being the cartridge cover, right, for the game?
Yeah,
for the second game?
For Sonic 2 on the Genesis, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
It's a respectable deal. I just want to tangent there because we were already there. That they're doing good things over there. They're listening to the people who complain about their stuff. And I just feel like it's like that's what you should do, but nobody does this.
It wins over the fans.
Yeah, I just feel like it creates goodwill. It turns the negative, media storm you had into a positive deal. And then all press is good press from there.
Yep, one day, everyone else will learn.
I don't believe that. I really don't. I just feel like people are too conceited or don't want to go back and spend the money because they don't feel like it's going to be worth it or, I don't know. Irrelevant. I suppose we'll get into the story, walk ourselves through that. But it starts with him doing the robbery thing, or saving the bank robbery thing, right?
Incorrect.
No? Oh, no. We do start with Eggman over there, making his mushroom drink thing.
His coffee. His mushroom coffee.
Well, he lists a bunch of different things. I don't know what the last attempt was supposed to be, I guess. It might have been supposed to be mushroom coffee. I don't know. I do like the weird little gizmo thing, where you're just following it and it's rolling down through and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just satisfying things to watch in general.
Yeah, they're like dominoes.
Yeah, basically. But the sound effects on that were also really good.
Oh, I paid no attention.
I was very pleased.
Okay.
Like, the rock rolling and hitting another rock sounded different than the mushroom rolling. And a mushroom hitting a mushroom sounded different than a mushroom hitting a rock. Like, they put some real effort into making distinct sounds as you went through this. I was very happy.
You know what was a little weird about this opening scene?
Let's hear it.
So he has this boulder that he has named Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought, oh, this is like a reference to Castaway. Maybe it is. But I didn't realize until I was taking notes for this episode and had to write down names and actors that his actual henchman on Earth, his name is Stone.
I didn't remember that, but when we got to Stone, I connected that.
I did not connect that until today, so I felt really smart.
I mean, you got it eventually, I guess, but yeah, no, we got back and he's like, oh, Stone, and I'm like, oh, I got it. I didn't get it there. I feel like I might have got it if we watched them, like, back to back.
Maybe.
But it's been, what was it? When did the first one come out, do you know?
Right when the beginning of the pandemic happened, so 2020. I think we saw it in like January or February-ish of 2020.
I think we were into spring. I don't know. Irrelevant. So 2020, yeah, so it's been, 2 years since I've seen this film. And yeah, so I didn't remember a whole lot. I also didn't remember who the woman getting married was. I was like, have we met this woman? And I was like, oh, yeah, we have, now that I see you again. And remember exactly who you are, but I was not remembering who that woman was. Anyway, on Mushroom Planet, good old Mushroom Planet.
Somehow he creates a device to create a signal blast that goes through the universe with mushrooms. So, big brain. And then he's introduced to Knuckles.
Yeah, I was kind of like, okay. I wasn't really sure who the other people were that came through before Knuckles.
I have no idea.
Like, they're clearly there in the first movie with Longclaw, right? The same type of people. But I'm not sure if they were, like, other Echidnas, because he makes it out like he's the last Echidna. And I was like, I don't exactly know. But it was a mildly, humorous scene. So I wasn't really that critical of it. The ring thing, though, I was really confused after a certain point.
How do these things work?
No. How we are still using them, right? Because he's only got so many rings, and then they all go away on the mountain, and they're still using rings after that.
Perhaps Knuckles had some.
Maybe. He didn't have a pouch or anything. I don't know. I was really confused, like... The rings thing was really bothering me a lot in this movie. Like before, nobody else had rings, and I saw the pouch, and we used them, and it was a thing, and it worked. But once we lost the pouch, and then it was a whole weird deal, I was like, I don't know about these ring things.
My problem with the rings was that at the wedding, Tom, Sonic's adoptive dad, the real human, he has an interaction with his niece, who is the ring bearer, and mixes up one of the rings with his magic trick. And as soon As I saw this person walk up, I thought, wow, we are switching the rings. Oh, look, that is exactly what happened.
Oh, I did not call that.
Oh,
No.
as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, I basically understand how this is gonna go.
Nope, wasn't calling that. I was not that good on this. I mean, it does seem pretty predictable when you think about it. But I wasn't thinking about it a whole lot.
Interesting.
I was like, okay, this is fine, but that's your Eggman stuff, right? He gets back to Earth.
He gets back, and then we get to go meet up with Sonic, stopping a robbery.
Good old Sonic.
Blue Justice.
Trademark pending.
Trademark pending.
It's a funny line. It's well delivered, in my opinion, but like, Sonic voice actor, I don't know, who's that?
That is Ben Schwartz, a.k.a. Jean-Ralphio.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's really funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would not have placed that, but he sells it. He really sells Sonic in this.
Yeah, he does a good job.
Well, in both films, but anyway, that's a pretty funny scene. I like that. Like, I think him trying to do the right thing and it fails. I like how he just dismantles the car.
That's pretty fast. You have to be pretty fast to pull that off.
You do have to be pretty fast to pull that off.
Which is actually one of my complaints with the film, is his speed is entirely inconsistent with how fast he can move in reality. By the end of this movie, I still go, I don't really know what your limits are. You can dismantle a car that's moving before it hits onlookers, but you can't do some other things like outrun an avalanche?
So I don't think that it's the lack of being able to outrun the avalanche. It's that he was choosing not to run. He was snowboarding, which I agree. I'm critical of that because we got there and I was like, you're going to snow. Why? You could run faster than the avalanche. And he is outrunning the avalanche for a little bit, but he's not able to use his arms. So his speed is significantly decreased because Tails is failing. You could argue.
Well, when he first starts the snowboarding, Tails is flying.
Yeah, I know. I agree. That's why I differentiated. That was two separate points.
Okay.
He was choosing not to, but then on the second part, you could argue because his arms are full. I don't really care. I was bothered. I agree. The inconsistency of, like, the only thing Sonic is good at is speed, and then he doesn't want to use that sometimes, or does... I don't know.
It's weird.
It is real questionable sometimes. But, like, yeah, in the beginning, like, with the car scene, and he's like, did you check under the seat? But it just, like, blinks. And he's like, yeah, of course I checked under the seat.
Obviously.
Yeah, he just tells how kind of stupid and childish he still is, and that's a big selling point in the movie. Like, that's what it's supposed to be, and it works. Right?
I agree.
I like that he feels very confident in how good of a job he did.
Yeah, he thinks, damn, that was a good job. I am awesome.
Yeah, I like that was in Seattle. I was like, yeah, West Coast. This was an actual, not, New York, LA. Still a big city, right? But it has to be a city. You gotta have recognizability.
Why wasn't it like Cincinnati or something?
Like West Coast, Best Coast. I stand by this. I don't know exactly where Cincinnati is, but it's not on the West Coast.
It could be like Louisville.
Is that on the West Coast? No.
No. It's on no coast.
No coast is bad.
That's true. What are you doing with your life? Move to a coast.
Well, not everybody needs to move. Not to the West Coast. We're satisfied. We don't need more of these stupid people over here.
The rest of the country should just move to the East Coast, unless you are in Washington, Oregon, or California. Everybody else, go to the East Coast.
I will accept that you can go to the southern coast, and I will accept that Michigan has coasts, even though those are lakes. The Michigan people, you don't have to move. Good on you. I think there are other states that touch the lakes, but that's irrelevant. Michigan's the only one I care about.
So everybody can move to Alabama. That's exciting.
You could all move to Alabama. Make Alabama a better state. That could happen. You can go down to Texas. A lot of states. You got some options. I will allow the people of Colorado to stay in their state.
Good for them.
I've just decided Colorado is good enough. Anyway, we are so far off topic. I liked that it was not a city that I was like, oh wow, we always use this city.
Fair enough.
But then, he's in the boat with good old, his name is Tom. I feel like this guy is typecast as the actor. Who's the actor for that?
James Marston.
Marston. Okay. He seems like he could only play a role that's similar to this. And it's fine. It works. I'm not impressed with his performance, though.
I was not impressed with any of the human performances. Jim Carrey maybe being the exception, but even then I feel like Jim Carrey is just being Jim Carrey. So it's not really that surprising. Everyone else, it's fine. It serves the movie. But no one's writing home about this.
But he delivers his very motivational, inspirational speech. I like the line where Sonic's like, "Oh man, getting goosebumps!" Like that was good. You steal that from Oprah?
Oh, I didn't really like that line.
Oh, I thought it was really funny.
Oh, okay.
Like, because it was just kind of like mocking Oprah, while at the same time, like, this is kind of like just a backhanded compliment. Like, "Oh, that was good, buddy. You're just as good as Oprah," basically. I thought it was pretty funny.
Hey, Oprah's a successful woman.
Oprah is a very successful woman who gets mocked frequently for kind of how ridiculous she is, so...
But if you're that rich, whatever.
I mean, she's doing something right? Not everybody thinks she's, crazy and weird.
True.
But yeah, I thought that was like the best line in that scene. Or the fishing line, like, where he says something about, like, mocking him for not catching any fish. It's like, casting your line out and catching nothing?
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about, but I don't know.
Like, it was funny in a moment. It wasn't good enough to fully remember, clearly. But it was mildly humorous.
I don't know that I found that whole scene to be particularly funny.
I mean, that scene really just exists for the, like, Wachowski family secret thing.
Yeah, the very important secret.
Yeah, I like that they brought it back around and used it, but it felt very much like there's the country song where he's singing about, like, how much a father loves their child, and he's singing it from, like, the phrase of, like, talking to your child like it's a family secret from father to son thing.
I have absolutely no idea what you're going on about.
It's a country song, as I already stated. That's all you need to know. It's just a bad country song. You've heard it.
Okay.
I guarantee. It just doesn't sound like you've heard it because I'm phrasing it in a weird fashion. But that's what it reminded me of a little bit. And I was like, you would. Because you're country bumpkin. You remember what state they're in? They're supposed to be in?
No idea.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping Washington.
He runs way back.
Yeah, but the area looks a lot like the woods in Washington.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
And if it is, that's great, because home state, let's go.
Uh-huh.
Represent.
Oregon is the best state in the union, so...
You can't say that. You don't have the right.
That's jacked up. Jacked up. I'm gonna cry. Anyway, despite you being a jerk, like always, I don't know where the story really goes from there, right? Oh, they leave.
Yeah, they gotta go on vacation to Hawaii.
And they're going through his fake airport security thing.
I did like that scene. I thought that was kind of cute.
It kind of came out of nowhere, and I wasn't expecting that. And then I liked the, like, bad taste in shirt comment or whatever.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
So...
The dog had some sunglasses on. It was a well-put-together little scene.
I like that the dog is there, but they don't try and overuse the dog to a detriment.
Oh, for sure.
Because you can only go so far with, like, real animals and making it work. And I think that they used it an appropriate amount. Should it have been a cat? Yes, because cats are way better than dogs. But in Hickville, you definitely own a dog.
Well, you're like the sheriff. Sheriffs don't have cats. They have dogs.
Oh, yeah. 100% for the stereotype over here. But they go on their way. Something bad's about to happen, but it's mildly humorous to watch as he, causing mayhem and destruction. And
you definitely know. You're like, this house is gonna be trashed. Oh my god. And then, mission accomplished. Trash the house.
I didn't really love the song choice there.
I don't even remember what it is.
There's some, like, rap thing, or, like, hip-hop thing or something. But basically all of those types of song choices in this film really didn't work for me. And it's probably just because I don't like that style of music.
I liked it in the robber busting scene with It's Tricky, but I like that song, so.
What style of music would you call that?
Well, they were rappers.
Were they? I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty old school, but pretty sure that was rap.
Oh, okay. I mean, I agree, it works there, I guess, but that song has recognizability, and I think it works. It's a really simplistic beat that basically keeps itself going through, and Sonic is over there doing his thing. It's easy to time things with that. Trash in the house, he's got his, snacks everywhere, and the bubble bath thing, and it really captures the, like, if I left, like, a 7-year-old child by themselves
what would happen?
2 days.
What would happen?
Oh, man. That'd be bad, wouldn't it? Yeah, this is what would happen. But yeah, like there, I think his speed is used appropriately. Like he, cleans everything up and
Yeah, for the call.
for that call. And I like that he answers it and it's just like the most awkward thing. And he calls it out.
I really like the call out. Like, yeah, I'm starting to believe you less and less for every word you're talking, buddy.
Yeah, like it's a really nice, honest interaction. It's kind of like those videos where people are like, if we were really honest in these types of interactions, this is what you'd say. Type things. You seen any of those?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, I think they're mildly humorous sometimes. But that's what it reminded me of. It's like, if people were actually honest, that's basically how that conversation would go. I'm like, no, everything's fine.
Correct. And after that, we have our first horror movie moment.
I mean, well, Tails has come about before that.
Well, we see
Tails. I like that he's like perfect mode of human transportation. He takes the cop car. I mean, I just thought it was mildly humorous. It wasn't like super funny.
Well, I don't know. I just thought, okay, you're introducing Tails. He's doing stuff.
Yeah, I was really worried about the flying animation before we went in. I was like, this flying animation is going to be bad. I'm not feeling confident. And then it was decent.
Yeah, it worked. I thought it was fine.
So.
But then you get a moment where the lights go out. And I was wondering if any of the kids found it kind of scary.
Oh, there was a lot of kids in this theater.
Yeah.
There was also more people in the theater for this than there was for Uncharted or The Batman.
Family movies are more popular.
I guess. I was just like, wow, that's impressive. Anyway, back on point. Yeah, you get that. I thought that was pretty funny. The dog really sold that pretty well. I don't know how they got that reaction where he just like whimpers and runs away from Sonic. I was like, that seemed real and pretty good.
It's pretty good. I also just think Sonic and Eggman's interactions are pretty good in general. I think they got a good comeback game between each other.
I mean, Sonic is his childish, like, bravado, and it really works, because Eggman's over there like, nah, you're an idiot, but I'm gonna say it in a nice flowery term, but I'm also psychotic. It really plays the balance, and I agree with your earlier statement that, like, yes, it's Jim Carrey playing Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey is at least decently unique in, basically playing himself.
There's nobody quite like him in comedy movies.
Yeah, he is the same basic character.
It definitely works in this movie. They knew what they wanted, and they knew who they had to get.
He really helps sell it super well. Because he can play the real crazy psychotic thing and still, make it work. He's got that weird voice fluctuation that I feel like only he can do, where it's kind of goes into a nice high pitch that isn't really a falsetto because it's still really controlled. And it sells it. It works really well, but they're pretty funny. I don't remember any lines that they say to each other at that point.
The best one was, "Oh, where's my manners?" And then he introduces Knuckles.
Oh, that was in the trailer. I already knew that was there.
I don't know that I watched the trailer.
I watched one of them. I think there's 3. I didn't watch the final one. But that's a decent little scene. Sonic's getting outclassed. Here's Knuckles. I didn't know Knuckles was Idris Elba until I saw him introduce the film.
I didn't know that.
I was like, oh, it's my man Idris Elba, who I only know because he was in the Dark Tower movie. Basically, the only reason I remember who Idris Elba is. And there's like an interview where one of his first big roles, he's talking about how, like, his friend who was a part of this, like, casting decision and stuff was like, look, you have to come in and nobody can know that you're British. Like, you gotta come in and you gotta have the accent going at all times, because otherwise, the director's really big on the accuracy of it and he's just gonna dismiss you outright. And so he goes in and he does it, and he held it for like weeks apparently.
Held the American accent.
Yeah, in front of everybody until someone finally, like, they were just asking normal questions and he just couldn't avoid the answers anymore. Like, he didn't have anything to go with.
That's pretty funny. That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. I just was trying to remember, like, what show or movie or whatever it was, because I just don't. But he got the role and then he kept it after that, and it's really impressive because he's got a really thick...
Yeah, when he talks in a normal interview, you're like, holy crap, I know exactly where you're from.
Yeah, he has I don't remember exactly what, like, area that is, but he's got the Cockney rhyme slang going on too, which is a weird slang system that I will never truly understand.
Now, did you think Idris Elba was a good choice for Knuckles?
I think because they affected his voice so much, like it's clearly dropped professionally and not dropped because he is speaking that low. Like, he's speaking low, but they dropped it further and capitalized on the natural bass in his voice. And so I went, anybody who has a lower voice could probably have done that. I'm always impressed by his ability to, talk like an American, because it is pretty flawless.
Yeah, that's a good work. I think he worked in this movie. I read last night that apparently when he was cast, his first idea was like, oh, maybe I should do a squeaky voice, because that might be funny. And apparently he was immediately shot down, and they're like, no, we're not doing that.
I mean, that was the right call. A squeaky voice would not have made it. I feel like would have been a bad choice.
Yeah, it would have been. So, smart movie-making decisions made there. I think he does a fine job.
Yeah, it's serviceable. I mean, he sells it well enough. Like, I'm not overly impressed, but...
Did you know that Tails is voiced by a woman?
Did you not hear that voice and think this is a woman?
I figured it was, but I wasn't positive.
Oh, I was... The first sentence out of Tails' mouth, I was like, oh, this is a woman. Like, okay. It was just weird to me because I thought it was going to be a man. It works. I have no problems with her voice
I think she did fine.
But
I just saw it and I'm like, why does this make me think of Ash Ketchum from Pokemon? Oh, because it's a female doing his voice. Okay.
Now, the friend we went and saw this with, he was telling me that that's the same voice actress as the original Sonic, or Tails stuff. Like, when Tails gets a voice actress, that's who it is. I don't know.
When does Tails first get a voice?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying, that's what he told me. That could be wrong. I mean,
that's cool. I think that's neat.
Yeah. It could be wrong.
I just don't know.
Misunderstood. But, yeah, Tails comes in. Saves the day in the police car, though.
I like that they also bring that back with a little quip there at the end.
At the end on the plane?
Yeah.
That's a pretty funny line.
I liked how Knuckles was like, he was talking about how...
I was not injured at all, and I will exact my revenge at the appropriate moment or whatever.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was good.
The writing on Knuckles' lines, top notch.
I think Knuckles was the most funny character in the movie.
I don't know that I can standardly say that he is the funniest because he's a straight man. And so it's hard to be like, well, the straight man is the funniest because the straight man by himself is not funny.
That's fair, but I like that aspect of comedy.
I think it worked really well here. It's not overused. It works pretty well. I don't know that I have like this person was the funniest or not really. I like a lot of them pretty equally. At least the main three there.
Fair enough.
And then we go off to what? Wade? We go hang out with Wade.
We go and hang out. Who the heck?
Wade's the police officer.
Oh, Wade.
You forgot about Wade? Because Wade's there very little, but Wade is there.
He was too much. I did not like him. Was he in the first movie?
Yeah.
I had forgotten about this guy. He is too stupid. Like, you can't have a character this stupid and then put him in a sheriff position. It's unbelievable.
I agree that humor is not very funny. It doesn't land very well. I think the best line is, his first little deal when they're in his cave, and he's like, this is the Wade cave.
Someday I hope to introduce this to a woman, or be saying this to a woman, or whatever.
Yeah, someday I hope to say this to a woman. That's not my mother. And I was like, that is... That's like, it's really funny because it's like a savage insult on himself, and he's too stupid to even realize it. Like, that was funny, but after that, Wade's basically not relevant. Like, he is relevant later, but whatever, Wade sucks.
So stupid. Oh my god.
But they figure out, where the compass is supposed to be.
I do think their, quest aspect of this film is so basic. Like, wow, I have this map. Wow, here's the symbols on this turn thing. Oh, figured it out. And the quest. We got it.
It's not trying to be something that is a quest deal. The quest had to exist to exist.
I understand that it's not Uncharted, but it's a little too simple.
I mean, I was okay with that. I moved on. I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, you get them wandering in the snow, and that's another deal with the speed thing, right? Why are we slowly trudging through the snow when you could just run?
He likes the snow.
It's just, it's a weird thing, and there's no, comedic, really funny lines in it that are like, oh, okay, well, at least we got that. It's just like, okay. But then they go into the bar, thing, tavern.
They're dressed up pretty funny.
The dress up is interesting. I was like, okay. And then they get their stew.
Cow tongue or elk.
It looks like, yeah, something.
It looks like cow tongue, but I mean, it could be
like a yak.
Yeah.
Or a buffalo or something.
I don't know what they have in eastern Siberia.
But yeah, I was like, okay, that's interesting, I guess. And then it really starts to show off Tails' intellect. Like, he's a cool thing. I don't really know why he gets to be a cool fox. Because he's a fox character, basically, I feel like.
That's it. He's a fox. And he's got two tails.
The tails are fun. I like the two tails.
It's a cool design.
I just like how they work kind of an opposite. And it looks neat. And
I like that he has control over them and can use them as either in a fight or he can fly with them. I like their use.
Yeah, I think they work. I mean, realistically, if you want to go by, like, mutations actually working, the chances that he has control over both tails is basically non-existent. The chance that he has control over even one of those tails is pretty low, but
he's an alien. It's
irrelevant.
fine.
He's some alien mutation thing. I don't know. I'd kind of be more interested to understand the world he came from. I was a little like, I kind of want to know, buddy. I kind of want to see a little more of you, Tails, and you growing up.
They must have some good technology if he's able to make all these things.
Well, he's technological. That doesn't mean everybody else is. I don't know. They've got parts of some sort that he can do stuff with. His gadgets are kind of nice, and he figures out the dispute thing. I was trying to understand the word, and I couldn't get it very well, because when there was a lot of noise happening, the sound mixing was really subpar. I could not hear the things that I needed to be able to hear sometimes, and it didn't work. And this is one of those moments. But then you're like, okay, what? This is going to be some weird thing. And I like the guy with the tattoo of himself.
I like him.
He was so stupid that it was like, okay, this is funny. It works.
It knew what it wanted to be. When we first got to this lodge and we see all these people in there, it's a little cartoonish, like this woman's knitting a death symbol. Just coincidentally and all that kind of nonsense. I'm like, okay, we're gonna play this up, I get it. But I think this character really sold the silliness of the scene. It made me enjoy it. And I was enjoying this scene for a while. I was like, okay, a dance off, that's kind of fun. Let's see what happens. But then I am just subjected to torture.
This song came on and I was like one beat in and I was like, yes. This makes this so good because you hate Uptown Funk. Yeah.
That is one of my least favorite songs of all time. Like top 3 songs I hate. I despise this song. I never want to hear this song. I hate the sound of it. I hate the lyrics of it. I hate everything about that song. And it was funny. I laughed because Nietzsche was laughing. And it was funny because it was so unexpected. But man, that's the worst thing.
I was like, this is funny. You groaned before I even looked. You're just like, oh. And I was like, yeah, you know what song this is already. That's good. And then you were over there, like, hand in your face at one point. It was really funny. But
I hate it.
I think that choosing a song that's really simplistic musically like that was the right choice here.
There's a billion songs out there.
I agree. You could have chosen a different song. I like this song a lot, actually. It's one of the few pop songs that I'm like, yeah, it's a good song. I listen to that sometimes, just willfully. I'm like, man, I'm listening to some Uptown Funk right now. But the choreography of both dance sections is really, really pretty good. I really liked it.
It's fun, it's entertaining, it's well done, but I don't really want to watch the scene again.
Oh no, I really like that Tails just pulls out like these weird... They're not really holograms because they can interact physically with other things.
Maybe he's a shinobi and he learned shadow clones.
Maybe he has some shadow clone status. He's a fox, he's crafty. You know,
I think that's what world he's from. We figured it out.
Yeah, that's it right there. But the visuals of that work really well, and it's really nice. And the one thing that was really weird to me was the like strobe light weirdness that comes around. Like I get that you did it for visual effect, but it was just like we're in the middle of nowhere. I'm not believing this. It was a little off-putting. But that scene was exceptionally great only because you hate that song so much.
With the passion.
Yeah.
It did make for a good story.
It does. But then we get to the compass thing.
The good old compass.
And they figure that out
In
real
about
easily.
2 seconds.
Yep.
Sonic goes, oh, I've seen those symbols. Figured that out. Try harder next time. It was just...
It's a little weird because it's like the unlimited power of like the universe. And we're like, wow.
Well, that took no effort.
Like, I'll give you, that's weird about it. But at the same time, did I want to see like an Tomb Raider Uncharted-esque deal out of this? No. Oh, no, I didn't.
I just felt like you could have shown Tails in a pretty decent light. Have him help Sonic out with some clues. And Sonic would be like, wow, good thing you're here. This would have gone real bad without you. Something like that.
They already accomplished that, though.
Yeah, I would have liked that a little bit more. But that's not what we got. It's fine. They find this compass. And then, of course, Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles show up.
Mm-hmm. We all knew that was happening. Before that, though, when Knuckles smashes the hologram of Sonic, though.
Oh, right, when Robotnik and Knuckles meet up with Stone, his henchman.
Yeah, that's...
In his coffee shop, where he makes coffee foam art of Dr. Robotnik.
Called latte art.
It's foam art.
It's latte art, okay? Get it right.
I'm going to call it what it is.
Which is called latte art. Be correct. But that interaction is really funny, because he's reading out the text. ...
Well,
the whole thing, his whole delivery on it,
all the lines
is really good. The
it's pretty funny.
Is funny, but it goes on a little long. Like, it overstayed its welcome just far enough for me to be like,
I think it worked. I didn't have a problem with that scene. It was funny. I laughed at that one.
But I laughed at the, he slammed it down and the glass cracks and he's like, small, version of Hedgehog is vanquished. Let's go. Like, it's so matter of fact. It's so like, I am good, did right thing, let's go.
It's funny. It's a good little scene. I think Stone works pretty well in their little group.
Stone is weird.
He's weird.
Supposed to be weird, and he sells it and it works, right?
It works. That's what I like, is it works well, and he plays it pretty well. So, they show up.
Yeah.
At the compass. And then we get the avalanche scene.
Well, first he's just snowboarding down. There's no real avalanche. It's all the things going and...
I like when he jumps through all the beams. That's kind of cool. It's very video game-esque to me, the whole scene. Of course, we gotta snowboard down the mountain. And then I gotta dodge all these things. And here's some lasers. And then he jumps on the other robot and shoots them all down. It just made me think of a video game.
I mean, it's a good scene. My favorite part about the scene is, when he jumps up to go through the lasers and we switch the music. It's a risky choice, I feel like. Because you do a really hard shift. And it must work for you to hard shift and then hard shift back.
I don't remember what song it was.
I don't know. It's just like a 50s show tune type thing is what it basically was. And I was like, that really worked. Like, I appreciate that you took the risk. And it paid off. Like, it was really good. Now, as we already stated, your other problems in the audio department didn't work.
I didn't really believe that he landed back on his snowboard.
You believed that he and Knuckles broke robots in the same fashion that they could have a snowboard? But you're struggling to believe that, like, he lands on a snowboard?
It's the part that took me out.
Okay, I don't understand. But okay, I mean, I knew that ridiculous things were going to happen. And
it's a kid's movie. I'm not mad. I just saying that it's just a weird moment that I was like, I don't know how that snowboard was magically where you needed it to be. Maybe he took it from one of those that just blew up.
Nah, they would have shown that.
That would have been a little bit more clever.
I don't know. It's pretty funny, like the snowball thing.
The snowballs.
Because he just makes a bunch of them and just... That's a nice showcase of, like, the speed matters there. Because hitting a robot with a snowball would do basically nothing. But because he's going to throw it at such an incredible speed, it does something.
True, it works.
Why you didn't run down the mountain, not positive.
There's a lot of questions in this scene.
But then, Sonic screws up and we figure out some echidna backstory.
It's a pretty boring backstory.
It's a backstory, right? It's there and it's nice that it's there. But yeah, it's basic. It's not revolutionary. And then Tails gets injured.
Poor Tails.
It's really sad. I was like, oh no, Tails might be dead.
Yeah, I thought for sure they were killing him off. I definitely didn't think at some point Tails would be incapacitated because Sonic promised earlier, I'm gonna watch out for you. Oh look,
with their power bump.
With the power bump.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it was pretty predictable, but it works. It sets up the ring scene, at the wedding stuff.
Which we haven't really talked about.
Yeah, we'll talk about the wedding stuff. They get there, and, I remember who this woman is, and...
Do you know her name?
No.
They had a big banner in the sky. Twice. I'll tell you their names. You don't even remember.
No, it wasn't relevant.
It's the wedding of Rachel and Randall.
I remember Randall. That name is said far more times. His interaction with Randall the first time, I'm like, okay, that's fine. This is weird. I feel like it's supposed to be awkward, and so it works.
It played what it is. I like Rachel and Tom's little scene there, because Rachel clearly does not like this guy. And I think that's pretty funny.
Who's the actress on Rachel?
Natasha Rothwell.
No, who that girl is. I think that she really sells, like, the crazy woman, though, in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really overdramatic, but the scene in of itself of, like, the entirety of your life for the past little bit has been, like, an entire lie. I believe that you're going to be a little hysterical and insane.
That's pretty reasonable, all things considered.
Yeah, so the over-dramatization of it really works because it's a really crazy situation.
Yeah, exactly.
So it works. She's pretty funny, but she's basically the only really funny thing there.
They definitely played the scenes around her. Because otherwise you get, like, the scene with Tom and Randall playing volleyball, and that's not going well. I just started to think, hitting a volleyball kind of hurts.
Oh, so bad, too.
And then getting hit in the face by one of those things doesn't feel good. And these are some pretty strong guys knocking this into your face. That probably hurt.
Yeah, it was not too long, and so it was fine. It worked. Could it have been cut? 100%.
This whole section, they don't really stay on it that long. You get a little bit here and there. They focus way more on Sonic, which is 1,000% the right choice. It's really just there so that we can get the ring interplay, and then we can save Sonic and have them meet back up. It all ties together well, which I like, but it's the scenes themselves. They're not that important.
Well, those scenes aren't. Yeah, the ring switching scene is the important scene, and I didn't call that, and then he throws the ring. I still didn't connect that the ring...
You still didn't?
No.
Oh my god.
And then he realizes, and I'm like, oh, I guess I should have got that. I didn't.
Oh man.
No, I just wasn't thinking about it.
You weren't nitpicking.
No, I was pretty engaged most of this film. So then what do they do from there? Oh yeah. So he goes up and he punches good old Randall.
I like that they used, before that happens, he's in the audience. And his ringtone is the Sonic theme.
There's a lot of Easter eggs that I got, at least. There's probably a lot of them that I missed, too.
And I'll say, as much as I don't really care about Sonic, I don't think its sound has ever been bad. Whether that be picking up the ring, or like Sonic going fast, or the music. I think the sound department with Sonic in the video games on the Genesis, I haven't played newer games, I don't know about those, but those old games are pretty good.
It's Green Hills, I think. That's what that track is. It's the Green Hills track.
Is there a town called Green Hills?
Yeah.
God.
Oh, this movie is fan service to the max.
Oh, I didn't even think about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I remember that from the...
I didn't realize that in the first movie.
Yeah, from the first movie, I remember that.
So, it only took 2 years. I got there.
That's a pretty funny deal to me. I don't know, I liked that. But then they come running through. The weird thing is that the ring closes pretty quickly there, whereas before it stays open a long time.
Very convenient.
There's a lot of weirdness with the ring. The rings...
They're a plot device.
They're a plot device that needed a little bit more scrutiny paid attention to them.
They probably thought, it's fine. The kids won't notice.
The kids probably wouldn't, but it was like the major problem to me.
I was hoping like the whole avalanche would come through. Just completely destroy everything. Kill everybody.
Yeah, that's what was happening. I felt really confident about that.
Yeah.
No, enough comes through and then it's gone.
Oh, the snow later on, right? I don't think snow melts that fast. I get you're in Hawaii. I get we're not in Siberia. But that much compact snow is not gonna melt immediately.
Yeah, it's just gone later. But anyway, things go bad. Tails is still knocked out.
And then, surprise, everybody here is a secret agent.
That was a really big,
I didn't call that.
Okay.
I didn't see that coming.
I liked that it was really all right. I feel just as surprised as everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it rewards it. Even Randall, just an agent.
That's really extreme. I like that the priest has a gun over there, though. He doesn't
In
show
his
his badge. He just opens the Bible, and it's a gun. Like, it was a funny little touch. But then, what's Charlie's wife's name?
His wife is Maddie.
Maddie, yeah. Maddie and her sister over there go on their little rampage. Again, the acting on Rachel really sells it. Like, she's just kind of psychotic and, doing her thing.
I can sympathize. That's a pretty crazy twist.
The bar thing was really funny, where she, is behind the bar and she's like, oh, wait.
I gotta get a drink.
She just drinks as much of it as possible and then takes the pineapple out of it or whatever. It works pretty well. That whole interaction works pretty well. Like, they're using Tails as gadgets, and
it works.
It's cartoony.
It's very cartoony.
And that's fine. But it works. They get over there. They're saving the day. I really like the golf cart. And Rachel, she's like, just going.
The golf cart, it was pretty funny. She does the whole drift thing and just walks out. And I'm like, this is so over the top. But it's pretty good.
There's a really good use of the slow-mo thing. And it was very clearly mocking the, action scenes in movies.
Yeah.
Where they're, so cool, and then there's a big explosion. And I like that they were mocking that. It's pretty funny. It's also just really funny because she's in heels and, this wedding dress.
Yeah, just unbelievable.
And she's a big woman. So, it's really funny.
It worked well.
It sold itself in a really good fashion. And then the gun with her, where she's like, I don't know.
I don't know what this does.
We're to find out, though. Oh, it looks like it works. It's pretty funny. My criticism on that is she throws the gun to the ground. You can see the gun immediately after it's on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But the other kid who shot the taser, he doesn't come up and grab the cool alien gun. He's not thinking that through. The Secret Service agent doesn't do that.
Yeah, he wasn't very intelligent. I thought his character was really stupid.
It's a plot piece.
Exactly.
That's it. It does its thing. But Rachel and Randall make up, and it's...
And then you never see him again.
Yeah, which is fine. I didn't need to see them ever again. But everybody gets saved. Sonic runs off to go deal with, the Chaos Emerald stuff.
Indeed. And then we're in a temple. The Temple of Doom.
It's not the Temple of Doom. It's the Chaos Temple, okay? Get it right. But I thought that was mildly humorous. Eggman and Knuckles going through.
It worked pretty well. I liked seeing Eggman do a physical action in this movie, more than just this moment. But I'm glad he's not just always flying around in his cool robot stuff.
Or standing in a lab, yeah.
Yeah, and he's actually physically out in this temple running through traps and stuff. It makes him a little bit more interesting.
It's pretty funny, but him and Knuckles in that is really good, where he's like, hey, red whirlwind or whatever, or how about we exercise some caution here for a second? Harder, or work smarter, not harder, and just kind of being insulting, because that's just who he is.
Is that to everyone?
And, still doing the right thing, and then they make it through. And once they get to the room, I think it's really funny, where he's like, oh man, now that the impenetrable wall is gone, this really opens up the space, and it's really nice. It was a really good mock of, someone trying to tell you, oh yeah, this space, and, the realtor thing. And I was like, that is exactly what a realtor sounds like, except not talking about rubble.
The rubble, always a classic choice.
Yeah,
I put rubble in our house sometimes.
Probably sits in your room.
Yeah, I just have
for
boulders.
Years.
It's great.
Mm-hmm. But I'm glad we didn't show Sonic running through the temple, basically, and more than what we did.
What we got
was good enough.
Yeah,
we didn't need to see more than that. He makes it through, and then he gets there. He's stepping up his game a little bit in his fight with Knuckles.
Was this just the power of willpower coming in? Because he doesn't do any training. It doesn't really seem like he would have gotten any stronger.
He's not, stronger, right? There's no point where it shows he's stronger. He's just being smarter. He's the element of surprise to knock Knuckles off his feet and then just...
Because he's completely trounced in his first confrontation with Knuckles.
Yeah, because he's trying to go head on and Knuckles is prepared.
And this time, it just feels like he still goes on in this head-on class, and it works out a lot better for him.
Not at the very beginning. He gets knocked off, and then Knuckles is going to grab the Chaos Emerald. And then he does a smart little plan thing. And then, he's not head-on. He's on the defensive when he's, over there, and then he finally gets hit.
I mean, it shows Knuckles as being, in a physical sense, stronger. In the end.
Knuckles is a warrior. He's trained his entire life for this. The best line, though, is when they're doing their little punch thing. And he's like, why will you not just die and, lay down your life in an honorable fashion?
I wonder why.
Like, it's just like a...
Let me think about that.
Did you just ask that? You did just ask that question. Okay. You're so far removed from everything. Got it. Got it, buddy. Because he's clearly got his own rules of engagement.
Right.
And
he has a sense of honor.
It sells him as a nice, consistent character and really works.
And while they're fighting Jim Carrey...
Yeah, he steals the Chaos Emerald. That's another point where I'm like, how... Touching it is all it took?
You just touch it, and then you absorb the power somehow, and then you disintegrate, and you have magic powers now. So that's pretty good. I also don't really... What are these gems that make up the emerald that can cause all this power? And I just don't understand what the lore behind all of this really is all about.
The gems are important.
Do they represent things?
I don't know.
Is this like a Triforce kind of thing?
They probably actually have real things, but in the original games, they're just like there, you collect them.
Are these in the games?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
In the original, in the Genesis games?
I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. They're like extra levels, basically. And so, in the credit scene, where there's the three of them running down like the tube and it's vertical and they can only go up and down like the half pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Those were things in, I think, 2.
I remember doing some of those.
Yeah, at the end of those was a gem, I think. And then in 1, it's a weird, like, grid thing that's easy to fall off of, I think. And you gotta, like, kind of work your way through this kind of maze thing. And then the emeralds are in there. Do I know what else they do? No. And I think if you actually get them all, like, you unlock, like...
Super Saiyan.
Yeah, Super Saiyan, Sonic for that as like a fun little deal. I don't actually remember that really well. There's some Sonic fans who are going to listen to this and be like, what the heck? You are a terrible Sonic fan. It's true.
This is why I said at the beginning, I don't know Sonic.
But yeah, I agree. The Chaos Emeralds and the cool emerald in and of itself is a weird thing that needed just a little bit of explanation.
A little bit.
Just a tiny amount.
But that's okay.
Because like, Longclaw and her people just come and steal it from the echidna, so it wasn't absorbed into him.
That was part of the story. I'm like, okay, so they had this thing, and this guy was really strong, but then he just got it stolen because he sucked.
Okay. It needed a little bit more. A little bit would have helped it.
I was kind of curious while watching it. Is this lore from the games?
It might be.
I just had no idea. I have no idea if this is just an original movie plot. Well, it is. But I'm saying, is there lore taking from something?
Probably.
In Sonic. I just don't know.
It probably is in some fashion. But yeah, he becomes, god status over there, Eggman. And
the power to create anything you think about. Mm-hmm. Which is a cool power. It's also a busted power. And I feel like he should have done a little bit better. Because that's a lot.
I mean, I could create, some great things. I could create the love of my life. My cat girl with glasses.
Your cat girl girlfriend?
Yep.
No.
That's all I need out of this power. That's it.
Concerning.
Doing good after that.
Yes, I'm sure you will be.
Anyway, but him and Knuckles team up. I like the water thing. Simply for the callback to the game. You missed that?
The water thing?
Yeah, where he's saving Knuckles.
I don't know what we're talking about.
So Knuckles gets pinned underwater.
Right.
Yeah, and then the air bubble comes up, and he, goes over there and sucks it down in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because in the underwater levels, you remember that?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. That. Yeah, you got to get the water or the air bubbles. But his whole animation of it and the music of it is basically the exact same. And it's just a really nice call.
I see. I did not know that.
Yeah, it was something that wasn't a scene that I think would be very great unless you just saw that this was just homage to the game. But I did, and so I thought it was really funny and good. And they save each other. They become kind of frenemies, I guess, for a little bit, and then they're friends by the end. But Tails coming along to save the day.
With his plane.
His cool plane. I feel like he has a plane in one of these games, but I don't remember. But I feel like he's got to have a plane.
Maybe.
Because I don't know why they would use the plane. I need someone to tell me the significance of Tails flying a plane. That works. That's pretty good, Their interactions are pretty decent. I like that they're are you sure we should have brought him along? He's not right there.
He's not listening.
He's definitely listening. But that works out pretty well. And then they, go save the day, basically.
Yeah, you get a pretty long section with this robot.
I think it's good. It works. It's a movie scene, right?
It's a video game adaptation Sonic the Hedgehog movie scene. It's fine. I don't love it, but it's fine.
I mean, the best line in that is the you need to read the user manual, and then he reads the manual, and the first thing is the mustache clap or whatever. And it breaks the plane, and you're just like, okay.
I respect the facial hair game.
Maybe you should try doing a mustache.
I have a mustache. It's just not that crazy.
No, you gotta shave all the beard off and just do the mustache.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that.
I will do it in solidarity with you.
No, you won't. You can't grow.
That's a low blow. A lot of my actual mustache hair is still blonde though. A lot of it doesn't come in at a darker color. On the neck, though, it does. It comes in pretty black at this point, but no. The mustache says no. Now, I don't keep facial hair anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But now we've tangented pretty far. I think the action in that scene works well.
I think what works best is the dynamic between the three heroes in the scene. I think they all play together pretty well. They have some funny lines together. They come up with a decent plan, with Sonic being the distraction and doing some flanking. I like that. You get to include the humans, and they can have their little part. They don't really do a whole lot.
They save him.
That's good. It's really all about these three finishing this thing off.
Yeah, I like that Knuckles will not refer to Tails by anything but the fox. And just the way he says fox always sounds so condescending. It's so lowly. I guess I will call it by what it is. That's fine. The fox. But they go in and they save the day. I'm not really sure. Again, the Chaos Emerald thing. He punches it out of him. What? Okay.
That's how it works. And then Sonic gets it and becomes Super Saiyan.
Well, he gets the Chaos Emerald, right? He doesn't have that.
Oh, right.
Because it breaks.
It breaks.
And so he's somehow absorbed those, and he's super cool.
I mean, he's pretty strong.
He's God status, and he just takes him out. I really like the finish of that, where he just taps it, and it's really only funny because Eggman is oh, I see how it is now.
So that's how it's gonna be.
We're not even friends anymore. It's just so childish and stupid.
It's pretty funny. Like I said, I like Eggman and Sonic as opposition. They're funny against each other.
Yeah, no, it's well written and it works really well. But again, it all comes generally back to they knew exactly what they wanted to be, and they delivered on exactly what they wanted to be.
That's very true.
And so it's hard to fault something when it's you knew what you wanted to be. I knew what I was expecting this time around.
If you go into this movie expecting an adult movie, you're gonna be vastly disappointed.
There's enough humor for adults to work, though.
Very much so. There are a couple jokes here and there that are very much an adult understands that, but I don't know that a kid will. That's generally how it is.
I feel like that's a part of a good kids movie in some sense, right? How well do you balance, this line could still be funny to children, but it's really for the adults?
I heard a discussion about this where people were talking about how writers maybe intentionally put it in for the adults, but the counter argument is that they put it in for themselves because they think it's funny, and so these movies naturally have adult humor because it's adults writing it, and I thought that made a lot of sense. These things naturally crop in because somebody writing it thought this is a funny joke and we're going to put it in. And obviously they have to vet through some of the jokes and be yeah, we can't make too naughty a joke here. And in a movie like this, you can make a lot.
Really, in part, it's your job as a writer for a movie like this, as a dialogue writer, to make it work. Because as a risk as it was for Sonic 1, right, nobody was really sure what we were getting into at first, and they sold it and they did a good job. But if you had done a poor job, if you had not made jokes that were funny to adults and stuff in that film, and made it an enjoyable experience for adults, do I, wait for Sonic to be available on a streaming service as a parent, and then my child can see that?
Yes.
Yeah, I do, which means you make less money. But if it's a good film, and I'm man, I'll enjoy that, my kid will enjoy that, yeah, let's go see that. It motivates, I feel me as a parent, not that I am one, right, to go and take my child to see this film because it was an enjoyable experience for me as well.
Absolutely.
Right? I feel like that's the line you gotta flirt here, and I just feel like Sonic in both films really nails that.
It plays to its strengths.
I feel like a good example in this fight scene is you gotta hit him in the groin. Right, that line in and of itself is not very funny. Like, I feel like that's lower age humor. People get that. The groin term is weird, but then, Sonic's where they're like, I am the groin. Right? That's a much funnier line, and so you've accomplished both audiences in the same little quip, right?
True.
But they do that frequently, and it works really well.
It's smart.
So, good on you guys. You have my seal of approval.
Woo!
That's pretty high praise.
That's unbelievable.
Your film is better than Batman and Uncharted and most other films we've watched.
That's pretty good.
So, Sonic, doing good things.
But this is pretty much the end of the movie. We save the day. We form the Cool Kids Club.
Yeah, they reform the Chaos Emerald, or they reform the Chaos Emeralds into the Great Emerald thing. Whatever. And that's an interesting deal. I don't know why, like, the Echidna can do it. It's just kind of a show thing that you can
do whatever you want.
Emerald thing really needed some clarification.
Yeah, I don't understand what this thing really is, but that's fine. We get to go back and play some baseball.
Yeah. Well, I like the chili dog thing. That is a really funny deal. He's like, no, don't touch him. He is not the same Sonic you once knew. And then he and you're like, it's going to be some gag, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is. But then it's just a chili dog, and you're
it's
like...
the chili dog.
Okay.
And I respect that, because chili dogs are good. I like chili dogs.
Well, I like... Because he starts off, he's eating the chili dog, right? And there's a lot of tie-ins that we like to pull throughout the film. It was very well written from that perspective to be like, we're going to have this scene.
And it circles back.
And we're going to circle back and do things with these bits. That I think really make it feel cohesive and good. But yeah, then they play the baseball, and that's a pretty funny scene. Just Knuckles over there, just trying to understand. He's like, so I don't get it. What am I supposed to do? Like, why would I do that? What is fun? Like, it's really funny. It really plays itself.
I think it's a fun scene.
I like that Tails has like a whole weird pitch thing going, using his tails and stuff, and I was like, that's something that I feel like if he had just thrown the ball, I wouldn't have cared. It would have been fine. But because they did a weird thing with it, and it paid off, it was funny.
And then Knuckles just punches it.
That's also not what I thought was going to happen, but then he does, and I was like, oh. And then his whole commentary on, like, the bases, though. At the start, where he's like, so if I am already at the end goal, why do I run the bases? And I'm like, legit, though. I have never thought about the fact that baseball is literally your goal is to go from the point you start to back to the point you start to.
The home plate, yeah.
Like, that does seem a little stupid and weird.
I don't think it's stupid at all.
Like, I get the sportsmanship of baseball, clearly. Like, I actually understand, but I'm like...
I would hope so. It is the best American sport.
That's not true.
It is true.
We have already discussed that soccer is.
Don't even.
And remember the Titans. You remember that?
I do.
I remember how much you failed at defending baseball, because baseball sucks. Baseball did just start up on the 7th.
Are we going to go see a baseball game?
No. I only know that because, my boss is a big sports man, and he knows. His team did not win their first game. It's very sad.
It's very sad.
I think there's 100-something games in this season now.
What
you're saying. So you got to lose some of them. But anyway, besides random sports things,
the movie's over.
It's funny. Knuckles really basically sells the baseball scene in the end.
Yeah, he brings it home.
So he also is making commentary on like, I now have conquered the first base and this base is now mine. Like he just has this whole stupid understanding of how this works. And it's really funny. And the line delivery works really well.
It works well.
That's probably the best scene with Knuckles, but...
Are they all living in this guy's attic now?
I really wanted to see.
That's what I was curious about.
But he's country bumpkin status, so he's gotta be... He builds them their own little thing.
Maybe.
The Fox and Knuckles live in the same little spot over there.
Yeah, sure.
But they leave the Chaos Emerald behind, and I was like, that was... stupid.
Except they didn't. Ha.
Yeah, they remembered it.
Now, I will say, I like the credit sequence at the end.
With Shadow? Oh, no, the actual credit sequence. Yeah. No, that's a good, homage to the games and stuff. And
I think that was really good. I like that. I like how there's, the confrontation and it shows lines of dialogue, like an old game would do. I thought that was really cool. I like the music. It works pretty well. It's a good in-credit scene.
Yeah, it's very much just a lot of, like, here's things from the games and stuff, and I probably don't get them all. But I get enough of them that it really sells itself. They do a good enough job pandering to fan service that it works.
Mm-hmm. And then we do get a mid-credit scene where we get to see Shadow. And I'm telling you, before I saw this movie, I thought Shadow will be the teaser for this movie. I'm already calling it easy.
Good for you. I don't remember most Sonic characters. Amy. I, for some reason, remember Amy.
I'm still guessing Sonic 3, Amy will be in it.
I would like to see Amy. I just think it'd be really funny because they're good at, like, making these things funny. I don't know the character of Amy at all, though.
I don't know anything about her.
But I also didn't know Knuckles.
She's pink and has, like, a red dress, right?
She's pink. She got pink hair. That's it. That's all I got. I don't know what kind of clothing she wears.
Oh, does he have just pink hair? In my mind, she is pink. What animal is he?
She's a hedgehog, isn't she?
Is he a hedgehog?
I'm pretty positive. We're going to look up what Amy looks like right now. Amy is a hedgehog. She is pink, and she's in a red dress. We nailed the major facts about her.
Woo-woo! Good stuff.
So,
we're experts.
I mean, if she appears, that's fine. I don't really care, honestly.
You think we'll get a third movie?
We'll definitely get a third movie.
No.
This movie, from what I saw this morning, is already doing really well.
Will Jim Carrey be in it? That's the question. Because he announced that he's retiring.
Is he?
That's what he announced. Now, he said that he may come back if he's interested enough in the role, basically. And the director or the studio, whoever behind this movie, said that they think he would come back. That's all I've read about this. So I'm curious if they get him back for a third movie. I would hope so.
I mean, he's an important play in the selling factor of these movies.
Yeah, and they clearly want to do another one. And I think they should. I mean, good on Sonic. It's cool to see a video game franchise that's not doing a terrible job with an adaptation.
I just like the story of them, like, they've listened to the audience and listened to the people, and they're providing it.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them to pull through, so.
And their movies both did well. Well, so far, 2 is doing well. It's off to a pretty strong start. We contributed to that. I feel good about contributing to that. Unlike Batman and Uncharted. Didn't feel great contributing to that.
Well, you're making it up. And you got a cool poster.
I did get a cool poster. They were just like free poster. Well, okay, I'm assuming they were free. They were on a table in the lobby, but there wasn't a sign about them, and I took one, so I might have stolen from the theater, guys. But it's okay.
Got a crime lord over here?
Well, I'm a righteous man. I could have went and asked an employee. But it was kind of late, and I wanted to move on.
Yeah, get home, go to bed.
Like the old man I am. Any other notable lines or scenes or things you want to bring up?
I don't think so. The movie's good, except for one particular moment. It will always be a drag.
Not even a drag. It's a good scene. You know it. It's secretly your favorite scene. I know that.
It was the funniest moment as an experience.
That's fair. It was really funny. Well, it's been a pleasure. Get to talk about something that's actually good, unlike a lot of this other crap you put me through. But if we brought you some pleasure, you like, you comment, you subscribe, it's your turn to have at us. Suggestions, share this, the whole deal. Let us know what you thought of Sonic. It'd be nice, Unless you hated it. And then you're no longer an acceptable human being.
It's a little harsh.
You will be banished to the Mushroom Planet. It will be sad.
Now, there's one more thing you could do.
Mm-hmm.
You need to create a new family tradition. And this is important. You must pass this down generation to generation. And I need this to go for at least 50 generations.
What are they passing down again?
The oral history of this episode.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is making its way down. That's fair. Sonic is good enough that I think that's a fine suggestion for them.
And when Sonic 3 comes out, maybe you should include that one. We'll see.
We'll think about it. Anyway, I'll give my score first.
Let's hear it.
That's what we'll do. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10.
I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Have at us.